Why did you want to publish your ideas with context in the first place?
So I think context is unique as far as academic journals go, in that it is geared towards a general audience. I think public sociology is so important, especially in our socio-political climate today. And I think reaching a broader audience, having a piece that is more um, academic in nature, but more like long form journalism was very exciting to me. Something that I thought, I can share this with my students and hopefully it would be an interesting and somewhat easy read for them. It's something that I look forward to sharing with my participants once it's out. Um, Hopefully, something that, they can sit down and read and it's something that they enjoy reading. So just a different format to share information than the typical journal article, I think.
Could you walk us through your main argument, or what's the key takeaway you'd like the readers to get?
So I think in this piece, the main takeaway is, although these family formations are becoming more common, um, they still are treated as if they are different. They draw attention in ways that can be very scary when it comes to surveillance and navigating interactions with different authority figures. So I think the main takeaway here is that these are real experiences. Families feel like they need to prepare for the worst. Um, and people may say, well, this seems very, you know, maybe they're anxious or they're being very proactive about these things. And they are being proactive because they want to reduce the risk, right? But families see this happen um, in real life. There's been at least two public cases recently where parents of multiracial children were stopped at the airport and accused of human trafficking their own child because they didn't racially resemble one another. So this happened to a white mom, and then in a second case, a black dad. So families see these things happening, and it's a reality for them and a real concern. So I think a lot of times we think of interracial partnerships or multiracial people indicating a post racial society, especially in the US. But I think their experiences, their stories, um, really show how that isn't necessarily the case and how they still encounter a lot of racism.
How do you think your ideas are relevant for just the broader public?
Um, my first goal with this research and this publication in particular is because it is geared towards a general audience. I really think it's a form of validation for families, for interracial couples, for multiracial people to see themselves in research like this and say, yes, I've had these experiences. Like, it's not just in my mind, like other families and other people are experiencing these things. So I think as far as a broader audience and that appeal and seeing themselves reflected in research is always special and important, regardless of what your research topic is. I think when it reaches people um, at that personal level, it's very impactful for them. Um, and then also, I just think generally for reaching a broader audience, again, going back to the idea of public sociology and how important that is right now. I think, if we're only in conversation with ourselves and we're only reading other scholars and citing other scholars in terms of traditional academic articles or books, we're really missing a large segment of the population, right? Because academia is quite a small community. And it's great that we can share ideas and build off of other people's findings and make advances in that sense. But I think for sociology to be a viable field moving forward, we really need to connect it back to the public and have research that is engaging, um, impactful, and also that's accessible, because I think that's one of our flaws is a lot of times the work that we do is very inaccessible to folks. Um, so yeah, that's why I love the idea of context and hopefully reaching a broader audience with this piece.